Hi guys, this is NUB SAUCE playing Transport Fever again. This time we're going to the Canary Islands of the west coast of Africa in the fourth mission in the European campaign, Island Paradise.
Progress is finally here. The former occupiers have returned a beautiful island kingdom somewhere in the middle of the Pacific to its native inhabitants, or what is left of them some 200 years after James Cook. Now that the yoke of colonialism has finally been shaken off, democracy and modernization can finally gain a foothold. The first charismatic presidente of the archipelago is very concerned with increasing the prosperity of the region, and we can help him.
Okay, but in the mission description they're talking about James Cook. We should just that this island paradise could be in the South Pacific, New Zealand. But all of the city names in the missions are based off of Caribbean islands, such as Tenerife.
Welcome to Paradise. The former colonial power has left for good, and now our beloved Presidente finally rules the country much to the benefit of the people. However, things are lacking. Or rather, our wonderful Presidente wants to supply his citizens better. In order for more growth and prosperity to come to our island realm, the transportation infrastructure must be rebuilt. It was sadly neglected by our former occupiers in recent years. Our perfect Presidente will reward us richly for our services. We get to keep our heads.
What a friendly president. So what we have in this mission? Of these 4 islands, we have 3 cities on the main island, and then 2 other cities, and a bunch of industries. And the trick in this mission is to set everything up with a limited number of vehicles, because it's supposed to look like a very poor nation that doesn't have that much logistic material to work with. We have 5 medals, and the intent is to win all 5 of these. Early, be done by 1975, which means we only have about just under 20 years. Earn 3 million within 1 year, which will be possible to do at some point. Make sure that no vehicle is 10 years old or older. And that could be tricky in itself, because if you're using every single vehicle that you are allowed to use, then you can't auto-update the vehicles. So some of them will have to be taken care of manually. Salvage all the sunken ships. That's a major expense, but then again, with a limited number of vehicles, that's definitely something we should work on. Good view. Take a train over a rail line with a high point of at least 200 meters. That's kind of hard to do because the islands are so small, but at least there are a couple of hills that are high enough for that. But building up on a steep slope and then down again so we can complete the circuit can be quite costly. Now, let's get the mission started.
Our splendid Presidente wants a rail line and an airline with all his heart. There is a lot to do. We have to make both airports ready for operation, and we need an airplane. The old rail line has decayed and must be rebuilt, and there is no trace of the locomotive in the cars. In addition, we currently only have 1 cargo ship and a handful of rickety trucks and buses available. Let's ask around among the populace and find out if there is anyone who can help us in return for some service.
Okay, so the main mission here is to operate an airline between Costa Adache, which is up here, and they don't have a finished airport yet, and connect it to Santa Cruz, which is here, ready for use. The second objective is to connect Las Puntas, Santa Cruz and Las Palmas with the rail line. And those are the 3 cities here on the main island. And both would be tough to do at the start because we can't build rails. In the road section we can only make dirt roads, and we can't make train stations and so on. If you look up here in the corner, at the moment we are only allowed to have 0 airplanes, 0 locomotives, 0 rail cars. We are allowed to have only 1 cargo ship, 8 lorries, and 4 buses. So it's a very limited operation here in the beginning of the game. The allotments or allowances here will be raised during the game, but not by much. Okay, so how do we fix all of this? Well, that's by looking at all the smaller objectives in the game. For instance, this question mark outside Santa Cruz.
We have found the train, or at least what's left of it. Rosie the cook has repurposed the cars for the expansion of her snack bar. The locomotive serves as an exhibit to draw customers. What a sad fate for such a venerable machine. If we can provide enough customers, then Rosie will be able to afford a proper new building and will let us have the cars. We can also have the locomotive if we promise to use it regularly and to shout Rosie's advertising slogan out the window at least once every trip.
Yeah, Rosie is a crafty businesswoman. Bring 50 visitors to the snack bar. The snack bar is here in the green circle. Apparently she's using the wagons as a restaurant area. And if she wants customers, we can deliver them by bus. That should be enough to take care of that. And we can go looking for the next mission. There's a farm here.
Farmer Rick owns an old airplane for crop dusting. Since he has switched over from growing grain to cattle ranching, he would be willing to sign the plane over to us. But in return, he wants us to stimulate his business a little.
Another shrewd businessman. Deliver at least 50 cattle from the farm to Santa Cruz Food Processing, which is down here. And as is the standard in Transport Fever, it also means that we need to take the food from the processing plant to somewhere where it can be sold. So we need a 2-step line here. So let's start building that. Okay, so I set up 2 truck lines. One to take livestock from the farm to the factory, and one to take food from the factory to the town. And we have only 8 trucks available, so we'll only just put a few on. Next mission is here in Las Puntas.
Our Grand Presidente is eagerly awaiting the opening of the new rail line, which we will naturally name after him in his honor. The architect who designed the train stations currently cannot be found. Supposedly he has abandoned his profession. Let's ask his former colleagues in the architectural office.
Okay, architectural office in Maspalomas, which was over here.
The architects don't know where their colleague has disappeared to either, but he is said to have a nephew. We will pay him a visit.
Okay, the nephew in Costa Adaye. Disappear.
Still no success. All the nephew could give us was a mysterious farewell letter. My dears, ever since I built that train station, there has been far too much traffic here for me. What a monster I have created. Forgive me for leaving you. You will find me where almost no train can reach, unless it can float.
Mysterious. So he's hidden the architect has hidden himself somewhere a train cannot reach. And oh, what is this? A tiny island in the corner of the map. And the first time I played this mission, I had a really long time finding it because I never looked right down in the corner here.
Unbelievable. We found the architect. And now we also know which basement holds the plans for the station building. We only had to promise him we wouldn't build any floating trains.
Okay. That means we now can build passenger stations for a rail line, but it still doesn't matter because we don't have any trains and we don't have any rails to put on. Okay, next mission. There's one here in Las Palmas.
Our roads are in terrible condition. They absolutely must be rebuilt to put an end to the constant bumpity bump. Stone is not enough for good roads. If we provide stone and slag, they will help us to build paved roads.
So deliver stone and slag. It doesn't say how much. So I guess 1 unit could be enough, or at least 1 unit of each. And that's where the tricky shipping lines come into play. Because we have a quarry here. We want ship sending stone down here. We also want slag. And slag will come from a steel mill over here. And the iron for that will come from over here. So we need iron here. From over there to this steel mill. And coal from up here. I'll send the slag down here. Down here is also a tools factory, so we can use the steel that we produce up there to make machines and tools. So we already have quite the trade triangle going on here, but we only have one ship to do it. Let's continue searching for missions, because we also have here.
For rail construction, we need steel. What a pity we don't have any. Maybe the steelworks can help us. Of course, not without something in return. If we help them produce steel, they will produce rails for us in the future.
Deliver coal and iron to the steel mill. And that's something we have to do anyway to get the slag. Well, we have another mission here at the airport, or the half-finished airport.
In order to set up the airline for our Grand Presidente, we not only need an airplane, but also 2 presentable airports. To make the airport operational again, we need the help of the local population. If we provide the town with construction materials, the inhabitants will trample out a runway in the grass for us.
Make sure 10% of the demand for construction materials in Costa Rica is covered, so that the airport can be made operational. That means that each year Costa Rica should have 15, at least 15 building materials, which we will need to ship in from construction materials planned over here. So that's another leg for the ship to do. So we have stone from this harbor to this harbor. We have iron from this harbor to this harbor. We have steel and slag going from this harbor to this harbor, and construction materials going from this harbor to this harbor. That's quite the complicated network, but it gets worse. Let's look here.
Our island world may be beautiful, but the weather is often very ugly. That is why cargo ships unfortunately sink off the coast from time to time. 1 or 2 of them can certainly be salvaged and repaired. But for an action like that, we will need pontoons. Fortunately, our colonial lords left behind a very modern chemical plant, which can supply us with plastic. The operators of the chemical plant will deliver pontoons to us if we find crude oil for them. But that is an expensive undertaking. Okay, so here we can spend 2.5 million
to search for crude oil, which seems like a pretty good idea. Of course, it's 2.5 million. I can't do for anything else. But considering how little material I have to spend it on anyway, that doesn't seem like that's a bad idea. I really want those ships, so I'll take finance trading.
Now it is a question of patience. We will know more soon.
So wait 3 months. And I think that was the last of the missions, so we can get started on the rest of the network. So we set up cattle to food to the town, that's fine. Put up people to the snack bar, that's also fine. Very soon there will be a total traffic jam between Las Puntas and Las Palmas because they have no public transportation. So whenever I can get buses, available, I'll put them in between those two towns. Then we need to connect something up here so we can get these two connected to the harbor, because the harbor's just out of range. So just a little back and forth route here with a single truck on it. So we just have at least something to take care of the demand between these points. Then on this side we need something for coal, we need something for construction materials. So we'll collect coal, deliver it to a steel mill, and steel mill will pick up construction materials, which we'll dump here. So that's all the ground vehicles. I have one cargo ship, and ideally it should take a load of stone back to Las Palmas to get this one started, and then afterwards it could take iron to the steel mill to get that started, get some slack down here, which means construction materials will start it. So it will be a lot of, because I only have one ship, I have to do everything on one line to keep up the demand. So what I'll do for now is just put these 3 harbors in a simple triangle, and then manually direct the ship every time it docks. So the first task will be to get some coal and iron, like coal iron, some stone and iron. So we'll put in the shipyard over here. This is La Gomera. To make sure it goes to La Gomera, it does. And I want it to load everywhere, because I'll control it manually. And I want it to wait forever, because I control it manually. Now all the basics should be running, and I still have 5 million to spend on stuff. We already have stone and iron loading up here.
So much for that. Not a drop of oil to be found. But on the mainland, plastic has also been made from plants for a while now. Maybe we could borrow one of those processes. In order for the chemists to be able to test the process, we need large amounts of grain.
Yeah. So the next mission is to deliver 100 grain to the chemical plant, which before would take crude oil, but now it takes grain to produce plastics. And that means we also need this farm to supply, this one here, to supply grain, which should be delivered to the harbor, and from the harbor taken by ship to Mas Palomas. And the plastics here should be taken back to Las Palmas because they are needed in the tools factory. So for now I'll just add a fourth goal into this shipping line. And I need to find a truck that can start delivering grain. So the first officer of the line here to pick grain to the harbor. I'll take one of the livestock vans and convert it into a grain van instead. So one vehicle is not enough to take care of 100 grain in any sort of reasonable speed. But it will get the demand started, so it'll start stocking up in the harbor. And because of the convenience patch, the ship can now take two different kinds of goods, which helps a little bit because I can deliver the stone. Actually, I could deliver the iron up here first, have it converted, some of it into slag, and hopefully it'll take slag down here. We'll just see. I might as well take a full load because this ship is so slow, so wait for full and then go on to Costa die here. How does it go down here? We moved 32 livestock and 3 visitors. But people are actually going to Rosie's snack bar here. It's definitely fast food because they come out really fast. You can see up here, there's a ton of traffic. So we want to alleviate that with a parallel track. That road should take about half the pressure. It'll be a little bit easier for my trucks to get back and forth. Okay, so my ship started collecting steel, which is okay, but I put out a lot of the slag. And I don't really need the steel, so I'll just send it to Las Palmas to unload the stone. That's the thing. When you only have one ship, you don't have a lot of control over what kind of good it'll pick up from the harbor. Because now I'll unload the stone. and the steel, and we'll pick up the grain, which I don't really need at the moment, because I want to go back and pick up slag. But on the other hand, if I have 50... Oh, I already have 50. Almost. If I have 50 grain, then I could do half of this mission, which also would be okay. I think yeah. I'll send the ship out before it starts loading grain into the second bay. And then I'll send it to the steel mill to pick up slag. I hope to pick up slag. Okay, Rose is done. Which means I can get rid of her bus route. Then install it up here where it's more needed.
Our former colonial lords have shown their generosity and sent us another vehicle they have no more use for.
That is fantastic. And it's not just one vehicle. They sent one ship, they sent 8 trucks and 4 buses. And that leads me to talk about one of the missions here, one of the medals. No vehicle is 10 years old or older. If I put every single vehicle on the lines, it means that this replacement function, automatic replacement function, doesn't work. Let's see. Let's put all of them in here. I like to put in. Well, I can't choose it anymore. What did it put it in? So maybe it does work. But just to be on the safe side, I'll leave one vehicle out of the equation. That way I can set my buses to replace at 25%. They have a lifetime of 30 years, so they'll replace every time they're 7.5 years. So they'll be safe. It'll be safely beneath 10 years. And I'll also have to do that with the other trucks. And there are 2 reasons I can't or won't do that with the ship. For one thing, I still have so few ships that I need to control them manually. The other part is that they have a lifetime of 50 years. So even if I set that 25%, they will replace at 12.5 years, which is way too late. But the good news is I can buy another one. And I wonder if that should go and wait for grain. I think it should. So pick up a new ship. So on the shipping line, send it to Las Palmas. Then because we have more trucks available, we can ramp up the grain service. Or we can start building a rail network. little money that comes in. If we really want to make money, we might need more ships, and to make more ships we have to get at least 100 grain over to this plastic factory. And we still don't have that even with 2 ships. Yeah, this track is not exactly fast, but that wasn't what the President wanted. He just wanted something to run between these towns. Oh, we have 50. Okay, go. Go to Maspalomas. And the other one is in queue, so that's perfect. Let's just see. Where 200 meters of height is. It's all the way up by the second thick line here. So it's really far up the mountain. Yes. Now both ships are heading for Maspalomas with 150 grain in total. That should kick off the plastics, and we can get back to making iron, stone pickups. Actually, it might make sense to have stone, grain, plastics going in a triangle like that. Stone down here, grain over here, plastics back, empty. Stone, grain, plastic, empty. And then let the other ship take care of iron, steel, slag, and construction materials. So what I'll do is set up a new shipping line. This will be stone, grain, plastics, empty. That sounds odd, but that's what we'll do. And we'll take the old ship because that's only the grain. Put it on that line. And then when the second ship has delivered its grain, I'll delete Maspalomas harbors from that line's network. So the old one here will be iron, steel, slag, and bricks, construction materials. So we unloaded grain to remove Maspalomas. For now we'll only take steel, no, iron, because one cargo bay is already filled with grain and with bricks. That seems nice. And this one, we'll pick up some plastics and deliver the rest of the remaining grain needed for the mission. So the ships are doing quite alright. And for my track building here, it seems a bit odd, but I'm doing a Swiss Alps style escalating tunnel. It's a relatively cheap way to build in mountains, because as soon as you, although tunnels are expensive, they're not as expensive as making huge holes in the ground. And as far as I can see, I just passed the 200 meter mark. So I need this track to get down again to normal level. Because either that or I should put a station up there. I could send a train up here if I have a station. Okay, so it won't be connected to anything, but it's enough to get the train up here and back. No, naval toilet terrain, of course it is. I think it would be more fun to put on another spiral.
The money is slipping through our fingers. We'll soon be bankrupt. But if we're prepared to grovel on our hands and knees, our financiers will grant us a bridge loan.
Yes, I'll take free money whenever I can. Okay, so it's quite the weird route here. And I didn't put in a station up here, but I can put in a waypoint up here. Then I just need to connect these legs up so the train going from Las Puntas can go all the way up the mountain and down again before arriving at Las Palmas.
The chemists have finished their tests, and successfully. We can now look along the coast for sunken ships, for salvage.
No question marks have appeared near the coast as a result of completing this mission. So now we can go find more ships. There's a yellow dot here.
A ship that we can salvage and repair sank here.
They cost 1 million to get the allotment for a ship. Then I can go up here and put it on a steel line. I should also look at how old they are. 5 years. I should soon look at replacing them. There should be another ship somewhere. Here's another ship.
A ship that we can salvage and repair sank here.
1 million. And I can buy one and put it on the plastics line. And there's another one here.
A ship that we can salvage and repair sank here. Good gracious! We're spending money like there's no tomorrow. Just this once, our financial backers are willing to turn a blind eye and help us out once again. But this is definitely the last time.
Free money. And that was the first medal. To get all those free sunken ships. And how far? We have done about 5 years. We've done most of the secondary goals. We're not making 3 million a year yet. But with the new ships, there's a chance we can do that. So far, no vehicle has reached 10 years, but we should be on the lookout here. And I'm building the scenic route for the train here. Still only do dirt roads because I haven't picked up any slack yet, but this ship should take care of it.
Our former colonial lords have shown their generosity and sent us another vehicle they have no more use for.
Okay, more vehicles again. So now the limit is 12 buses, 24 trucks, and 6 ships, so I can buy 2 more ships if I want to. I'll start up by buying buses and trucks, because I could do a lot more money here. And actually the road down here is relatively crowded as well. So maybe I should do a dirt road back here. Okay, so I just set up a train. Oh.
End of the line. It's no use begging and pleading. Our financiers are refusing to put even one more penny into our project. Damn it!
That is unfortunate. So I put in a train line going through Las Puntas, go through the spiral, going through a checkpoint into the tunnel, going through 2 spirals, down again through the spiral, and into Las Palmas. And then we'll go the normal way back to Las Puntas. And I could actually add Santa Cruz as well, like that. Yes. I'm missing... I must be missing a piece. No? But that part is not important. And this is the scenic Presidente Railway. So what I want to do now is buy a train with a single car so I can get it rolling. That's an investment of about 5 million, so I need to earn 5 million first. And how can we do that? Well, it seems that my harbor service here should be divided into 2 different. Okay, down here in this overview, we can check out how old the vehicles are. As expected, most of my road vehicles are coming up to about 7 years, but they should all auto replace very soon. But ship number 1 here, I think I should soon think of replacing. I don't know why, but it didn't deliver the stone. Let's just try again. I was waiting for this one to come in. This one didn't deliver either. Something's wrong. Doesn't take the time to unload. Stop for a moment. Let's see if it unloads this time. Guess I'll need to get rid of it. So a couple of loads like that definitely is gonna... Yeah, it's supposed to be here. It's like all the ships have stopped unloading wherever they're supposed to. Now it will unload. That's really weird. Better check the other ships here. That's picking up stone, that's fine. That picked up grain, that's fine. This then to Las Palmas to unload. That's on its way to Las Palmas to unload. That is picking up. So I just need to find a new ship when this one has gone and gotten sold. And then I need to find ship number 2, because that will be in the next one. 5 years. So that's not old yet. Finally got some slag so I can make roads. The people in Costa Rica finally stamped out the runway so I can put a plane in here. But I won't do that for the time being, because there would be no passengers on the airline until I have some bus service, and I don't have enough buses for that. So the airline will be the last thing I do in this mission. What I need to do, however, is to get that train going. And now I can see here at this farm there's a bunch of food stocking up as well. Which... Oh, I'm making 3 million, yeah, that's nice. That's the second medal done. Yes. This also means that it won't be long until I can buy this train. What I was about to say. There's a bunch of food stocking up here. I didn't ask for that. But the trucks that are taking the livestock down to Santa Cruz have decided to take food up here, because then the grain trucks can take food to the harbor to get it shipped further on in the system. And that's something that can make money, but it lowers efficiency. And what I should have done is to make sure that the grain line only runs trucks that allow grain. They allow everything, so I'll try to split the service between food and grain. It's slightly annoying, but okay, as long as it makes me money. I think this picture here is quite symptomatic of this mission. There's a ton of stuff that wants to be shipped, but there's just not enough vehicles to do it. I just got to thinking, I have 6 ships available, so I could do a dedicated stone line and a dedicated iron line to clear up some of the traffic. Let's look at the shipping here. So I could create a line of La Comera, waiting for fall to go to Las Palmas. One of these 3 ships could do that. It could be this one. Then I could take like a mirror out of this equation. So these will only do crane and plastics for now. So this is stone. And this is nutstone. Then we'll set up a line from here, wait for fall, get over here. This is an iron line. I guess this one will take care of it. And then I can take like a mirror out of this equation. And then make start full load. Will it steel or slag, doesn't matter. And then I can so steel, slag and bricks. I'll send one ship off to be sold, so that can come on one of the lines. I guess a steel line. Okay. I have enough money to buy a passenger car for the train, which means we can go on the first scenic route. And considering the next ship won't be too old until 5 years, so we can actually do that in first person or something. To see how the Alp style curves actually work. So I'll put this one on Scenic Presidente Railway. Coming into the first spiral. tunnel that leads up to the second double spiral. That was the sound of a metal for going across 200 meters. And going down again. Down to the lower spiral. Take a train over 200 meters. And we have the first goal of the two primary goals to run the rail line. It hasn't reached Santa Cruz yet, but it's in the network. If we call up the schedule. Las Puntas, Las Palmas, Las Puntas, Santa Cruz. And now that we have the medal for the scenic route, we can take out the waypoint, which means it'll run direct from now. And as you can see, there's already passengers waiting. Not enough to make it make money. At least not without the other free rail cars. But at the moment I can't afford to buy them. So for now I'll mothbag, or what you would call this train. I'll send it back to the depot and sell it until such point that I have enough money to buy the entire train. We only have 2 medals left to win here. One is to make sure the vehicles are under 10 years. They still are, but they are auto replacing. I better make sure that they are. Auto replacing 25%. So they replace at the first stop they get. I did manually take care of the ships. So the oldest ship at the moment is 5 years. And we're not in 1975 yet. So now would actually be the point where I can put in the airline, and when the train is sold I can buy the DC-3 and put it on it. And that should take care of the second primary goal.
Our fantastic Presidente is very satisfied with our work, and we are allowed to keep our heads. For now.
So, we did it early. It's about 11 years. With all the ship, we could make 3 million of earnings per year. Not profit, but earnings. Keep the vehicles pretty fresh. Find all the second ships, that's an important part of the strategy. And a Swiss-inspired line to go up into the small mountain here. So that's all 5 medals. And that's it for now. If you've been watching so far, please subscribe, comment, whatever. And hopefully I'll be back next week with the next mission in the European campaign. Bye bye.